How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Gamecasters. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review and a gameplay overview of Ancestors Legacy. Now, if you're a fan of squad strategy, sort of like overhead games, this game is very reminiscent of games like Star Wars Empire at War, Company Heroes 2. There's small squads, you get like little veterancy upgrades to those squads, as usual with strategy games. And then you'll have like little abilities down here. You can set traps, you also get like armor upgrades, and you can pick up certain items in the world that like other units drop, such as siege equipment and stuff like that. Now, this is one of the later missions in the first campaign for Ancestors Legacy. There's about 45 missions on here if you have the DLC for the game. I think in the base game there's like 30 or so, but there's plenty of content. This mission on average has taken me probably about an hour. I'm stretching this one out specifically for this video. But it's your typical strategy overhead game. So you'll click your units, of course, and you send them wherever they're going. There is environmental things, so like tall grass you can hide your units in. Forests will provide protection from archers and things of the like siege equipment, ballistas, and things like that. You have your shield units, which are better for melee combat, of course. Archers, definitely not suited for melee combat. They do have an ability that kind of helps them, so if one of your units gets trapped in combat with a melee unit, they can pop that off to kind of help them, give them an edge. But if you don't have other melee units in the area, it's better to retreat those to be safe. Hero units are a thing in this game, and I will say, with my experience on them, I've not gone into any like the super hard difficulties on here yet, but from like the earlier difficulties, hero units can definitely be a little overpowered. But thankfully in multiplayer games you do have an option to turn those off, so you don't have to worry about those if you don't like them. Your base building is it's basically a prefab, so you'll click on your main building and you'll select the structure that you want to build. For instance, if I build the well, it's going to build it right here. If I place the cult building, it'll go over here. The tents pre-place on the map. Base layouts are pre-generated. You just have to purchase the upgrades. There are recruitment screens, so you'll have like, as the Vikings at least, you'll have spear raiders, berserkers, shield bearers. You'll have your scouts, which are like your cavalry kinda, archers, and then your siege equipment will be at the bottom. There are more units in the game, but as far as like the campaign goes, this is one of the more like tutorial campaign levels, so it kind of doesn't give you access to all the stuff that is available. It does do a good job of easing you into how things work, but there's still a little bit of a learning curve there. It's not, click any unit and just send a massive army at the enemy for the most part. Again, like I said, however, the hero units are overpowered. I can literally send this guy in to fight like both of these squads and he'll win easily. He will take damage, but as you can tell, he's already taking down this slinger squad, and then there's a shield bearer group there. He's just taking them on like it's nothing. So I personally don't care for running heroes in multiplayer matches. However, they are very useful for campaign levels. There is your typical what is it? The cinematic camera. So I can zoom in here and watch the battle a little more closely. It's nothing to write home about. Like, it's your, I don't know, you got units that kind of like phase in through each other, as you can tell, and the screen is super shaky, so I don't ever really use that. I'm usually up at the top watching what's going on the whole time. There is a friendly fire mechanic, which is kind of neat. So, like, you got to be careful when you're using archers to fire upon enemy groups that are near your units, because they can actually get really messed up by doing so. Honestly, my hero right there probably took more damage from my own archers than he actually did from the enemy squad he was fighting. In campaign levels and in certain multiplayer maps, you'll have these enemy camps. This would be one of them normally. So you'll come in, you'll attack this warehouse or whatever. You burn it down, you stand near it. It's kind of like capture the flag. You burn it down, and then you stand near it, you'll capture the building, then you gain control of it. There's a lot of these around the map. They are where you get most of your resources from. So, like, you have your wood, you have your food, your metal, and then your population cap. 10 is the max unless you are modded, which brings me to my next point. This game does have a very active modding community for it, and it's directly linked to the Steam Workshop, so super convenient. You can just open up Steam, go into the mod menu, and look for stuff that you're interested in, units, maps, mechanics. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. Again, that's why I kind of reference like Company of Heroes and Star Wars Empire at War. Both of them are older RTS games, but they have a similar feel to this. So if you're used to those kind of games, this one would be up your alley. If you're into like the Vikings and Crusade and medieval area combat. It's no Total War. You don't have the massive armies that, you know, the micromanagement and everything that those games typically have. But for a simple RTS, it's actually pretty good. I would recommend this to someone who's into more of the small squad tactical RTS games. There is one little con that I don't really like about the game. So typically when you're playing these kind of RTS games, you can kind of like say this unit's fighting this unit. Normally I could pull this guy back and then give him a better position or something, or say if there was two squads fighting on this side of this unit, I could pull one of those squads back, go around and flank them. You do get a flanking bonus on here, and it's beneficial to have a unit hit the enemy from behind because they have a better chance of winning that fight. However, this game has one slight problem that I do not like, and it's that once a unit engages with an enemy, at least with the Vikings, I've not fully tested this with every unit in the game, so don't get me there. I've just kind of accepted the fact that it's a thing from playing it the way I have. But say this unit's in combat with an enemy. Once he engages with that enemy, you can't pull him away without hitting the retreat button. So you have to retreat the unit back to an area, and then you can go back in and attack. So once he engages, I'll use his ability. If I click this, he will not leave this combat. He will refuse to exit combat with this unit until I press the retreat button. Then he will run away. However, until he finishes retreating, I cannot control where he goes. I can set where he'll go after he finishes retreating, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. This will actually give you a good example of the destroy thing. This isn't a capturable one, however, it's one of the secondary objectives. So this is what you'll do. You send a unit in, you burn down the structure, and then normally with one of those little camps, it'll burn down, and then after it finishes burning, it'll be a capturable structure. There are, I believe, 4 different factions, if I can remember correctly here. Hang on. Oh, there's actually 5. Okay, so you have the Vikings, the Anglo-Saxons, the Germans, the Slavs, and the Saracens. I probably butchered a couple of those, but each campaign has the two different campaigns. So the Vikings have the Ulf, Ironbeards, and then Ruriks. Each of those have 5 missions in them. The Anglo-Saxons, same thing. You have 2 different campaigns for those. For the Germans, there's 2. The Slavs, there's 2. And the Saracens, there's 1. I do not know if they are currently planning on adding in more. But again, like I said, active modding community. So if you want more content, that is another possibility. You literally have a button in the main menu for mods. You can deactivate all total conversions, map packs, and then you can open the workshop, which will open your Steam overlay. There is the skirmish mode. So there are 2, 4, and 6 player maps. These are fairly well set up. There's a couple of them I'd say are a little one-sided, but for the most part, you can find some really good ones. Desert and Wilderness is actually one of the better ones, personally. I like the kind of maps that funnel into an area and you kind of fight for the center of the map. But there are more wide open maps, such as Collateral Damage, where a lot of big open fields and trails and stuff like that going through the area. So it all depends on what you're into. You can set a lot of settings with the skirmish modes. You can go Domination, which is more point-based. You can go Annihilation, where you're dedicated to destroying the enemy base. Each one of these has different settings. So if I were to go Annihilation, I can set how many resources I spawn with, so like your wood, your food, and iron. Starting technology level 1 through 3, you can set how early that starts off. You can set a time limit. Personally, I prefer no time limits. I like actually finishing a game. You can set the weather that it'll start off with. At least it will change after the first 24 hours in game. There is a day and night system to the matches. So at nighttime, units will have less view distance, and then during the daytime, they'll have better view distance. At nighttime, units are easily spotted less easily spotted, and then you have a torch option for a lot of units that they can pull out a torch, but it makes them more visible at nighttime to other units. Maximum squads, this is how many squads you can have per player. You can set it down to 5 or 10. 10 is usually what I have mine set to. 5 is a very bare minimum. Like, I would only use that if I was playing on a smaller map, such as this one, and even then, that's still a fairly large map. So usually keeping it cranked at 10. There's a couple of mods I've looked at that increase this. So again, modding is a heavily helpful thing for this game. If you prefer larger scale battles, that's what you would be looking at. Here's the allow hero options I was talking about. Usually I have this set to no. I do not like the heroes in multiplayer because the heroes can tend to be a little overpowered and can single-handedly take on multiple units. Depending on what they are, of course. There are ways to kill them quickly, but it's very dependent on the situation, if you have the right units at the right time when they pop up. Game pace, you can set it to a slower speed or a regular speed. Also, again, mods can affect this. And then if we go over to Domination, you can set your score limit. Again, the resources, starting tier, time limit, weather, maximum squads, allow heroes, and game pace. So, similar settings, just only difference is the score. And then you'll create a game and go from there. Some of the larger maps, I think Heat of the Battle is the biggest one in the game. As you can tell, there's a lot of different places. So these little black dots are where a player will start, and then these A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are those little camps I was talking about. So you can go in, capture those, and then you'll have like a forward operating base that your units can replenish at, or you'll gain resources from controlling. So super useful to capture those, because the more resources you have coming in, the better you can build up armies. However, if food runs out, your units will start to lose morale. You can actually get a negative income. If that happens, units will start losing morale and will be less effective in combat. So even though you have a 10 unit cap, you wouldn't want to build all 10 units if you do not have the food to sustain an army of that size. So you want to capture outposts, get your resource income going up higher than what your upkeep is. So there's an upkeep to income ratio there that does matter. Iron is used mostly for upgrades, and then your wood is more for like your structures and buying units. Unless it's a siege unit, I believe siege units use iron for those. But overall, Ancestors Legacy is honestly a really great RTS game. And like I said, it's not on par with games like Total War or Warhammer. Some of the bigger ones, like Total War Warhammer, is more what I'm implying. But you're not gonna have like 50-hour campaigns and for a single conquest, but it's a fun little like medieval RTS that has a lot of the more popular squad-based mechanics in it. Again, like I said, only con I personally have with it are the heroes are a little overpowered. You could probably find a mod that tweaks them better. Personally, I just don't use them. I like just having soldiers going at it on the battlefield, and I just leave it at that. But like I said, huge modding community, so even if you don't like some of the mechanics, I'm sure someone out there probably agreed with you and has modified the game to better suit how they like to play. So this has been a review of Ancestors Legacy. Would I recommend it? Yes, if you are into more squad-based RTSs. Again, very similar game would be Company Heroes, just this is medieval versus being a World War II game. Or Star Wars Empire at War, which is a lot of an older RTS, but has those similar mechanics for like base building and upgrading tech and stuff like that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from us. Hit the like button if this video helped you. And if it didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. I will do my best to answer every single one of them. And I will see you guys next time.